day dissolve to night. Solar particles excited oxygen and nitrogen molecules in the upper atmosphere, turning the night aglow. The northern and southern lights are usually visible only at the poles. That night, they stretched all the way to the tropics. Watching from a campsite in the Colorado Rockies, a journalist described an auroral light so bright that one could easily read common print.
And when the Lamb opened the seventh seal, there was silence in heaven. And the seven angels before God were given seven trumpets. And there were noises, thunderings, lightnings, and an earthquake.
Joseph Seed, you're under arrest.
And I heard a great voice from the temple say to the angels, "Go your ways, and pour from the vials the wrath of God upon the earth."
Sing great.
Hudson, you take him back! We gotta go!
He was right.
Shut the fuck up!
Get moving! Run!
Jesus fucking Christ, kid. You see this shit? Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, get to the goddamn bunker now!
We're gonna die! 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 We're gonna die!
Run! Get us to that bunker! Go!
Oh Jesus! Oh Jesus! Oh Jesus! Oh Jesus!
Watch the road!
He was right!
Watch out!
He was fucking right!
Shut up!
We're gonna burn to death for our sins!
It's
We're
right.
gonna
It's
burn
right.
hell for
Shut
everything
the
we've
fuck
done!
up.
Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee! Blessed art thou among women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb! Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners now and at the hour of our death. Amen.
Still go! Trey!
Attention. This is the emergency broadcast system. Take shelter immediately. This is not a drill. Repeat, this is not a drill.
You know what this means? It means the politicians have been silenced. It means the corporations have been erased. It means the world has been cleansed by God's righteous fire. But my most of all, it means I was right. The collapse has come. The world as we know it is over. I waited so long. I waited so long for the prophecy that God whispered in my ear to be fulfilled. I prepared my family for this moment. And you took them from me. I should kill you for what you've done. But you're all I have left now. You're my family. And when the world is ready to be born anew, we will step into the light. I am your father. And you are my child. And together we will march to Eden's gate.
Just kids when the bombs dropped, and the world went to shit. They said it was supposed to be the end of everything. But for us, it was just the beginning. Surviving? Nah, we were better than that. This new world had a lot to give, and we took it all. That's how we came out on top. That's how we got here. That's how we found you. Listen here, rabbits. You need to understand something. The only currency left in this world is power.
The day I was born was the day the world collapsed. Those that survived had to make new lives underground. Up above, there was nothing but ash and cold and death. People thought it would last forever, but without us up there, life returned. I was 6 years old the first time I saw the sun. Mom and Dad were heartbroken by what they saw. The world they'd known gone forever. But not me. I'd never seen anything so perfect. We weren't the only ones who'd survived, and slowly but surely, our little community grew. It wasn't always easy, but for a time, there was peace and prosperity. A new home. A new life, a new normal.
Humanity's Major Transition from the Age of Pisces to Aquarius by Arjun Walia. Astrology is an ancient art and science dating back thousands of years. It appears in many cultures, but as with most ancient wisdom, much of it has been concealed and forbidden from the public viewing. Secret societies, both those whose hearts are grounded in the goodwill of all of humanity, and those driven by greed, personal gain, have also used this type of ancient knowledge. From Atlantis to ancient Sumer, Vedic astrology to ancient Greece, Rome and Egypt, many great minds throughout the ages have practiced astrology, and for good reason. Despite its many skeptics, astrology has much to offer. It's also important to mention here that many of our founding fathers of modern science, especially in the fields of mathematics, and physics, and quantum physics, were all spiritual mystics. Today, science begins to study non-physical phenomena. It will make more progress in one decade than in all the previous centuries of its existence. Nikola Tesla. A New Age astrologist when man began at the dawn of Christianity. Prior to this, we had the secret societies, concepts like the Philosopher's Stone and other magical concepts, including the use of magic and sorcery. With the advent of Christianity, the concept of God took their place. Yet more recently, concepts that were used and practiced prior to the beginning of modern-day religion have been emerging once more, which is interesting because we are at the end of an age and transitioning into a new one. There is discrepancy among experts where exactly we are, but most seem to agree that we are in a very important transition period. In Western astrology, we are transitioning from the age of Pisces to the age of Aquarius. In ancient Vedic astrology, we are at the beginning of the end of a 300 cycle, currently living in the transition period at the end of the Kali Yuga age. The Vedic doctrine also tells us what Western astrology philosophies do and correlates with the cycles described by ancient Native American wisdom as well. They tell us we are living in the age of darkness, also described in the Mahabharata, a time where mental capabilities reach their lowest point and moral virtue is stripped from the earth. As independent researcher Bibhu Dev Misra writes, when the world's soul is full of blackness and corruption and only a small fraction of virtue remains, it slowly dwindles to zero. At the end of the Kali Yuga, men turn to wickedness, disease, lethargy, anger, anguish, and fear of scarcity dominate, penance, sacrifices, and religions. These descriptions accurately reflect our society's progression. As we move through modern history, this past age, which has lasted approximately 2,100 years, is coming to an end. A conclusion marked by a time when global tensions have never been so high. During this age, humanity has indeed experienced the most darkness, and so it seems, the more ancient a civilization, the more spiritually and technologically advanced they might have been. Also interesting because after this age ends, we will be cycling back to the beginning of an age that hasn't been seen since the time of great knowledge and understanding of the spiritual sciences, mysticism, consciousness, and nonism in general. This all seems to be part of a massive shift in collective consciousness that is going on today. Carl Jung's explanation. Dr. Jung writes, as we know from ancient Egyptian history, these events are symptoms of psychic changes that always appear at the end of one Platonic month and at the beginning of another. There are, it seems, changes in the constellation of psychic dominance of the archetypes or gods, as they used to be called, which bring about or accompany long-lasting transformations of the collective psyche. This transformation started within the historical tradition and left traces behind it, first in the transition from the age of Taurus to that of Aries, and then from Aries to Pisces, whose beginning coincides with the rise of Christianity, mentioned above. We are now nearing the great change, which may be expected when the spring point enters Aquarius. The quote above is taken from his book, Flying Saucers, a modern myth of things seen in the sky. Carl Jung, contrary to popular belief, was a heavy researcher into the topic of UFOs. During the time he published his book, he also accused the Air Force for covering up information about the subject. Hawley explains Jung's quote above. Jung is telling us that the Platonic year is a problem in timing, and that we call the precessional motion of the equinoxes results in the vernal equinox changing about every 2,100 years, and that these changes correspond to the months of the Great Platonic Year, which consists of something over 25,000 years. He is telling us, therefore, that these changes arise in nature, in cosmos, in space, are due to certain gradual transformations of archetypes, and that these archetypes mean that in nature this clock is active, and that this clock is continuously moving, passing from one cyclic division to another. He could undoubtedly gather a powerful body of information to prove that of each of these vital periods, these periods in which the general dominant of the world changes, there has been a mark, an important social, psychological change in the life of individuals. Hall then goes on to say, the life of the individual is in relationship to the life of the collective, that this phenomenon of the flying saucers should arise as the vernal equinox moves towards the Aquarian point, and that this consequently implies, as it did to the Egyptians, Greeks, and Romans, and also to many Asiatic peoples, a major motion of world consciousness, world pressure, and that this motion is from a water sign to an air sign, and that therefore the atmospheric mystery, the mystery of air, and that which is concealed within air, must become increasingly psychologically dominant for a period of more than 2,000 years to come. Human consciousness in space. Scientific literature is clear on the fact that several physiological rhythms and global collective behaviors are not only synchronized with solar and geomagnetic activity, but also that disruptions in these fields can create adverse effects on human health and behavior. The point is, at a biological level, we know that all life on Earth is linked in some way with solar, lunar, and possibly other cycles as well. There is also a great deal of evidence that human consciousness, which plays such a big role in quantum physics and other areas of non-material science, is directly connected to astrology in very peculiar ways. It was not possible to formulate the laws of quantum mechanics in a fully consistent way without reference to consciousness. Quote by Max Planck.
Hey, thanks for joining me. Hope you're doing well. About every 2,000 years, our Earth realm and those inhabiting it undergo a shift from one age to another, each age ruled by one of the 12 astrological zodiac signs, and each age corresponding to the traits of the sign which rules it. For example, if we were in the age of Cancer, there would be a great social emphasis on family, housing, food, and fertility. If we were in the age of Gemini, we would be witnessing great emphasis on communication, surface-level interactions, and information. At the present time, we are going through a transition, yet another shift of the ages, from the age of Pisces to the age of Aquarius. The age of Pisces began around the time when Jesus Christ is said to have been incarnated, what many label the Common Era. Positively, Pisces has to do with the arts, humanities, intuition, religion, and mysticism. But negatively, it has to do with deception, illusion, secrets, mysteries, addiction, and hidden schemes. This is why the age of Pisces could have very well been called the age of deception or age of illusion. And we can just look around and see the residual deceptions and illusions in every aspect of life. These deceptions were established and nurtured in the Age of Pisces. The energy extraction matrix, the artificial and parasitic system all around us, aims to con us into buying into this illusory Piscean paradigm. One where humanity is preoccupied with unnatural, oppressive, and hierarchical systems of control and regulation. The media, banks, academia, government, medicine, toxic food, celebrities, war. These are all things which rely on deception in order to be validated and considered acceptable. The sign of Pisces is the two fish with their tails tied together, swimming in opposite directions. This symbolizes the struggle and the gap between spirit and matter, and this gap allowed illusions and deception to run rampant in the Age of Pisces. The interconnectedness of everything was able to be ignored or pushed away during this time in favor of illusions. The fish are pulling away from each other. This is the tug of war between the material and spiritual. On the other hand, the water bear, the Aquarian symbol, mixes his bucket of water with the waters below. This is a merging, a blending of the material and spiritual, which were previously at odds with one another, but are now coming together in perfect union. This is what this awakening, this shift in awareness we're experiencing is. It's moving away from the Age of Pisces into the Age of Aquarius. No longer are we tied together like the fish, but are now free to interact with our higher selves in a more intertwined way that we previously could not. The Age of Aquarius is a time of the merging of opposites, the masculine and feminine, the yin and yang, a time when duality can be conquered and resolved. The polarized aspects within each of us are being called to work together. Now more than ever, we have the ability to bring messages from the divine into the material world. Again, pouring the waters from above and merging them below. Everything is developing on this earthly plane as a celestial drama being played out before our eyes. And this transition we're in has chapters to it. The chapter we are currently in is the unveiling. The illusions have been lifted for all to see, and now is the time when more and more are discovering their true essence, that they are not just animals living a meaningless life, but are inseparable from the creative force which flows through all of us, multidimensional creators, who are experiencing this lifetime to contribute to the higher order of all. Just as deception sprang up over time during the Age of Pisces, these very deceptions will slowly erode away as liberation and harmony makes its way into the collective. However, as with all change, there are often those who try to maintain the status quo, the old Piscean system. And there are also growing pains, a purge, a detox. This transition is therefore causing great turmoil in order to make way for the new paradigm based in unity and abundance. So everything with Piscean values is being exposed for what they are, illusions. Many see this disruption and think the world is falling apart and things are getting worse, but this isn't the case. This is simply a breakdown of the old in order to make way for the new. After all, we cannot rebuild until we destroy what doesn't serve us anymore. In this Aquarian age, each of us are being asked to make a choice. We can cling to the old, outdated values, or adopt the new, evolving ones. The job of the Aquarius is to challenge authority, tear down existing structures, and replace the outdated with something better. But this isn't automatic, as nothing is guaranteed. So although the water bearer calls, it will ultimately be up to us, all of humanity, to decide which direction we take in this new Age of Aquarius. It's through the synergistic efforts of all individuals that the collective consciousness is changed. This is why it's more dire than ever to get rid of habits that bind you. Stop eating animal products, clean out your body, mind, and heart. And because manifestation is increasing, so is this cleansing process if one chooses to engage in it. The exact date of when the Age of Pisces ended is still a subject of debate, but most point at the year 2012 as the time when we left the Age of Pisces. The scare of 2012 being a catastrophic doomsday event is the result of the elite turning this wonderful transition into something dark and scary. The prophecies of George Orwell's 1984 and the multiple dystopian movies that have come out recently are only here to infect us with pessimism for this coming age. But there's nothing to fear. The age of Aquarius is here, and the transitory period is now. When we pour down the healing waters of Aquarius, we wash away the old structures. We plant the seeds of new, higher experiences and identities, and become renewed. Will we choose unity or cling on to the old? That is the overarching question at the moment. The energy right now is perfect for healing, so keep your intentions pure, heart and mind set on what's harmonizing. Sit back and watch this story unfold.
Merry Christmas, Clara.
Godfather.
Your gift this year will be something you'll never forget. Most people don't realize there are troubled realms within our world. And you hold the key to their secrets. Remember, Clara, nothing is as it seems.
Where am I?
You're in the Four Realms, Princess Clara.
Princess?
At your service, Your Majesty.
Maybe I have been spending too much time in the attic. Welcome to our world. The land of snowflakes. The land of flowers. And the land of sweets. But in the fourth realm, this is where our troubles began. Mother Ginger started this war.
Don't you know it's dangerous here?
I hope you'll be the one to finish it.
It's time to save the kingdom.
It's just the laws of physics.
Do those laws always work?
As far as I know.
Ready.
Go! She's gathering her forces.
You're the only one who can stop her.
Hang on. I've been expecting you.
It's time